You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA. You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Fabulous Pelton Cast. I'm your co-host Kevin Pelton.
And I'm Tristan Carcino.
And we are coming to you from Renton, Washington, home of the NFC West champions.
A fitting place to be recording one of our first in-person podcasts in a very long time.
It's our first one in Western Washington since
years.
I don't even remember. There was some time.
We haven't watched the Seahawks game together in a long time.
That is an accurate fact. So a lot of unusual things. And you know what? We will not be watching a Seahawks game together during the month of January.
Hello.
Because you will be attending any Seahawks games that are played because they are the number one seed in the NFC for the fourth time in franchise history, having previously parlayed each of those three into Super Bowl appearances.
Man.
We will not be watching another game together all year because guess what?
What?
I'm in Hawaii for the Super Bowl.
Are you really?
So we'll see on that one. Give that a giant we'll see, but I will not be in Seattle, whoever plays in it.
You're going to Hawaii for the Super Bowl no matter what?
Yeah.
You've really just made a lot of smart decisions in your life.
You know what? It's amazing off reverse jinxing.
Honestly, whatever has happened in your life has led us to this point, so it has to be the right decision.
The Mariners were 0-2 after I came back to Seattle.
Oh, that's a good point. The Seahawks managed to be the number one seed this year, despite all of that.
And they did it by beating the San Francisco 49ers 13-3 on Saturday, which we should probably mention at some point here.
Well, and I think we have to come back to the four most important words in the English language, and of course on the Pelton Cast, and that is, I told you so. Thank you for that. All of your concern on the podcast, everybody who had comments everywhere else, any concern whatsoever, I told everybody all week. Luca was like, are you not concerned, Dad? And I said, not at all. Literally, my heart rate did not change throughout the game. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit on the drive that the Niners had before the interception off of Christian McCaffrey's hands. But this defense is too good. The Seahawks defense, I'm telling you, this is unlike anything we have ever seen with a Seahawks defense before. Pete Carroll be damned. Like, that was...
Wow, you just gave a Pete Carroll retire?
I mean, you probably should. I'm not going to deliver a Pete Carroll retire pitch here today, but like 3 points. 3 points is what that Niners team mustered.
Ooh, buddy. And look, obviously the Drake Thomas interception that you were referring to, a little bit of a fluky play, but it's not like it was...
It happened.
But it's not like it was a fluky giving up 3 points. They allowed 4.1 yards per play, 173 total yards in this game. I should have made my bold prediction.
Better. That is the thing that the NFL should be concerned about. The offense is getting worse, right? We can accept that. The offense did not play badly in this game overall.
But relative to what we expected against this 49ers defense that got torched by the Bears a week ago,
I think if you wanted to find a concern, that's it. But we don't need to talk about that right now. First and foremost, Brock Purdy, who you were glazing all over this podcast all week.
I don't think Brock Purdy played... I don't think Brock Purdy played poorly in this game.
Who played poorly then?
I think the Seahawks defense was just that good.
I'm sorry, but yes, that is true. Brock Purdy dropped back 27 times and gained 127 yards in this game.
I mean, the pressure that he was under in this game, I mean, one of the things we talked about is that they had not missed Trent Williams, that, Brock Purdy's sack rate has been very low all season, and they did not miss Trent Williams in that regard after he went out of the
Chicago
game.
Took 3 of them today. Not for many yards, though.
They missed him. They missed Trent Williams today.
I'm sorry,
but that Seahawks pass rush was relentless, and it was mean, and we'll see how Brock Purdy came out of this game. He took a very hard hit on their final offensive play. Appeared to bang his hand on a helmet earlier in the final drive. So a rough sequence there for Brock Purdy.
Just when you go across this defense, though, pound for pound, you're like, okay, there's this player, this player, this player. But the contributions that they're getting from Ty Okada, from Drake Thomas, from the defensive line, like across the board, there are not holes.
Can I give you a name defense that you did not think about one time during this game?
Who's that?
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Starter at safety, injured for this game. Didn't even matter because Ty Okada just got it on lock.
No, Ty Okada was the story of the first game in some ways, but in this game, they have it figured out. And I think that's why the conversation about, in week one, yes, the offense might have been a little bit better in week one, although they only scored 13 points. I think they scored the same amount in both of the games.
They have mastered scoring 13 points against the San Francisco 49ers.
This defense, and there's one team across the entire NFL. There's one single team that I'm like, that team would concern me right now. There are 30 other teams that I am completely nonplussed if the Seahawks play, no matter the place, no matter the situation. Fortunately, that situation will be in Seattle, Washington, and it also will be on the West Coast if they were to get as far as possible, because they cannot leave the West Coast. They cannot leave the Pacific time zone after this.
I can leave the Pacific time zone.
That's fine. That doesn't affect the team. But
They may help them.
this defense travels, and this defense is consistent, and they are getting better. I mean, this was
They're beyond this. They
Pound
were at
for
one
pound.
point in the Raptors testing the fences stages of their development. They've now escaped.
They've
the
breached.
Fences. They've realized that they can get through the fences.
they've breached. I'm telling. I am at the phase right now with the Seahawks as the number 1 seed. I would be shocked if they didn't make the Super Bowl.
I would not be shocked if they didn't make the
Okay,
Super Bowl.
how about this? I would be shocked if they didn't have a rematch against the Los Angeles Rams. That was a very close game. And if they beat the Rams, I do not think there's another team across the NFL who can beat them.
I don't know if I can find this play because it was a somewhat innocuous play. But there was one defensive play in particular that stood out where like there was a completion around the line of scrimmage and Devin Witherspoon was just sitting there waiting and closed.
It's like
so
we
quickly.
have their playbook on some of these plays. They got the one drive, and the drive that ended up in the Drake Thomas interception was the only drive where I was like, oh, they finally got one. But it did feel like up until that point, offensive genius, offensive mastermind, Kyle Shanahan. It seemed as though last night he went to the Seahawks hotel and gave Mike McDonald his playbook. Does it not seem like that?
So one of the
Everything
interesting
they were doing short, it was like Nick Emanwari is there, Devin Witherspoon is there, and they tackle like a motherfucker.
And as you
And
correctly pointed
Rick
out,
Woolen too.
he did a fine job of tackling in this game. Obviously, his usual sticky coverage. I will give you credit. Wait, what was I going to give you credit for?
Everything.
For differentiating this team from the Rams. But one of the things that
Differentiating the Niners and Rams, it's not. They're not playing the same sport.
one of the things I did not mention on the podcast that would have been a source for optimism, which was not what I was looking for before this game started. But now that the game is over, I can look for it, and it's that like when Mike McDonald was with the Ravens 2 years ago, then the Ravens beat the Rams and the Niners.
That was a shootout.
both that season.
The Rams game
The
was a
Rams
shootout.
scored a bunch of points. The Niners, he had completely dialed in. And obviously the Niners offense, like they moved the ball regularly in the first game, much like the Seahawks in this game, didn't score as many points as they could have because of a couple missed short field goals. Still, they have not like had the kind of success that we saw the Rams have against the Seahawks defense in the last meeting. Mike McDonald has consistently owned Kyle Shanahan.
And I think if you look at, I don't know about consistently. I mean, if you look back to the Ravens, I looked last year and I was like, how do we do against them? But you kind of forget that before the Ernest Jones trade, the defense wasn't that good.
Correct.
It took a second. Took a second for everybody to figure it out. But in this one, also, when you looked at some of those missed opportunities, right? I mean, they had 9 points on what could have been a field goal in the first possession, and then the two makeable field goals that Jason Myers missed. It's whatever. It happens.
They
across the
also
board.
easily could have scored touchdowns on those drives.
Yes. The yards per play, they're at 5.4 yards per play to the Niners 4.1. And I thought Sam Darnold, he didn't play a perfect game, but
Certainly, I would like him to have the instinct to just take the 2-yard loss instead of trying to hand the ball off if Jalen Sundell trips him in the future.
It's one play, and it wasn't exactly like he tried to force anything. I don't think Sam tried to force things too often, and sometimes when he did, when I thought maybe he should just throw the ball away, the completion of Cooper Kupp on the last full offensive drive.
Hey, no,
where it's
yes.
Yeah, he gets into space, and boom, he finds Cooper Kupp open. But, I mean, also the length of the drives, too, I thought was kind of notable.
Yeah.
Which was the Niners barely had the ball in this game. You know, like the amount of 3-and-outs influences that, but the Seahawks' ability to run the ball. Ken Walker had a great game. Zach Charbonnet had a great game, both of them. The Seahawks, this was the game they wanted to play on week 1.
This is the game they want to play every week.
But
39 carries, 26 pass attempts. I mean, some of those were Sam Darnold scrambles, so it's not quite that dramatic in terms of the run-pass balance, but 33 carries between Ken Walker III and Zach Charbonnet, and 32 plays involving Sam Darnold. So they exceeded in that regard. And then a heavy dose of JSN. and
When you need him, always
just
there,
enough
always open.
of the other receivers contributing. Rashid Shaheed.
We don't talk enough about also Elijah Arroyo hasn't been out there. He was definitely both Troy Horton and Elijah Arroyo are not there. There are options that the Seahawks are missing offensively that have influenced how they are playing the season, and Charles Cross being a big one.
Yep.
So I don't know what Arroyo's status is, but it does seem like
I think the expectation is he will be back this season. Torrey Horton, the update after we
year.
recorded this week, is that he is not expected to return.
But in 2 weeks, when the Seahawks do play that home playoff game as the number 1 seed, which is fun to have actually happen now. It's not just speculative, right?
Yeah.
It's a thing. But when
they haven't played. You haven't been to a Seahawks playoff game since
the week after Mateo was born, and we are here celebrating his 9th birthday. He became a whole ass person and an Eagles fan in that time period.
Bad parenting.
But the first possession of the game led to no points, but 7:37 driving down the field.
Yep.
You could feel it from the Niners. They wouldn't tell you this was the case. They knew they were the worst team today.
But they didn't, because Kyle Shanahan refused to go for it on a variety of fourth downs where they should have gone for it, including a 4th and 1 in their own 20.
Or maybe they didn't realize they were the worst team. I think the fans did, though. I seriously think that as things started tilting Seahawks, the fans were like, we know we're not actually that good. Because fans know. People know deep down, as stupid as Niners fans may be.
I don't know. Did Seahawks fans feel that when the Rams were up 16 points?
Hell yeah, they did. That's why they left.
Well, good point. I was thinking the where they punted on 4th and 1 at their own 18-yard line. Like, you got to be booing at that point. There's 4:31 left in. No, I guess there was a lot longer than that. But they're down 10-3. They scored 3 points all game. It's the end of the third quarter, and you're punting in that situation. Like, come on, what are we doing here?
No,
and
I mean, Kyle Shanahan is Gen 1 Sean McVay right now. Also, just does not have the offensive playbook. Probably doesn't have the talent either. I don't know. But, like, Mike McDonald knows what the fuck to do against a Kyle Shanahan offense. But the length of those drives, right? The first drive, 7 minutes and 37 seconds. They don't score a touchdown. That's a win. Boom, they score a touchdown right after that. They get the ball back. That's why
the reason
you do that.
You go for it
Yes.
in that situation, because it sets up the great field position where, thanks to a penalty on the punt return, they get the ball at the San Francisco 35 and only needed 3 plays to punch it in.
Did they have any 3 and outs, the Seahawks? I believe they did not. Their only 3-play drive was the touchdown where they scored a touchdown.
Well, the end of the game, there was 3 kneel downs.
No, but like full drives that were 3 plays. The shortest was a 5-play drive for 18 yards in the third quarter. So having no 3 and outs.
That was also
Niners
their
defense.
only punt of the game, right?
And then the 89-yard drive that again led to the missed field goal by Jason Myers. But I mean, that was 8 minutes off the clock. Game was over. They ended the game on that drive. To be able to do that as the Seahawks offense, I think people are not going to give the offense enough credit in this game, and both sides of the ball. It was complete domination.
I mean, I don't know if it goes so far as to say it was complete domination. I mean, 4 yards per play.
But this was
But they controlled
the
the
Jags game, the Texans game, those types of games. It was, this team isn't so bad that the Seahawks are going to win it by 30, but like, they're not going to be up 28-0 in the first half like they were against the Commanders. But this is what they do against good teams.
I mean, there's only one team in the league that they've consistently, played close with, and that is the Rams. And we'll see if we see them in a week or 2 weeks, or see them in 3 weeks. But
I do think some other names, Derek Hall having a massive game. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence everywhere all the time. Like, not everything everywhere all at once. The alternate reality where Kyle Shanahan learns to go for it.
I don't like that multiverse. I hope he can't jump to there.
I would love to see him try. We saw their 4th down. It was like when you were like, they should go for it. I was like, of course, please be my guest.
I mean, sure. I'm not unconfident about the Seahawks defense in that situation.
But yeah, Derek Hall had a huge game. Boye Mafe getting his fingers on the ball. Like that's kind of what I was thinking of. When you were saying you wanted to trade Boye Mafe at the deadline, which of course was the wrong decision.
I mean, how do you know that someone else wouldn't have come in there? You didn't expect Ty Okada and Drake Thomas to be playing the roles that they did either.
I think they probably would have found their way onto the field if they were going to be playing that important of roles. But like, you'd have a whole rotation on the defensive line.
They do, but they could find someone else.
Boye Mafe getting his fingers on there. You need contributions from a lot of different players to have this kind of defense. Ultimately
the reason for it is you shouldn't do anything to weaken your team because they are the number one
Exactly.
seed and the favorites, the most likely team to make the Super Bowl in the NFL.
They're fast. They hit hard. They're well coached. They're where they should be. The only comparable in franchise history is the team that won the Super Bowl for the Seahawks right now. It's the only comparable of this team ever.
Yeah.
And this
Probably the
defense.
case.
So I think we should be going into the playoffs feeling extraordinarily confident. And even I loved seeing that Vegas got it. That the Seahawks ended as 2.5 point favorites, despite the fact that the records were close. They probably could have, I mean, they obviously covered the spread, right? And they could have covered the spread by a lot more, but that people are starting to catch on of what the Seahawks team is doing. I don't know. It wasn't the most fun game to watch across the board, and the Seahawks seem to only play those 2 times a year. Or this season, they've only played a couple of those. The Bucs game was fun, but like, at this point, I don't need fun, right? We can have our fun in January.
I suppose so. I don't need fun then either. We can have fun at the Super Bowl parade.
Sure.
I mean, I wouldn't. No, I might be back by then. I don't know. It depends on the time of when a parade would be. Yeah. The other standout of the night, as always, Pagliacci Pizza, our sponsors.
Oh my God.
Brought some over here from West Seattle, since sadly no location in Renton, Washington, home of the Super Bowl 48 champions.
That's so funny. I was thinking about that earlier too about Pagliacci, where I had this sounds like it is literally sponsored content, but they didn't tell us to talk about it.
No, they don't care.
Earlier today, no, they literally could care less. Earlier today, though, I was at Pagliacci and I was like, we don't talk enough about how great Pagliacci
The
is.
reason, so as you mentioned, it's your babyest fantasy genius's 9th birthday today. So I volunteered to bring Pagliacci to this group get together at the famous Cousin Katie's house, and the same place we watched Super Bowl 48, of course. Not the place we watched Super Bowl 49 when it got canceled.
Cursed.
You said, "Oh, okay. Well, he requested to go to Pagliacci for his birthday, but maybe we'll go somewhere else because having it for dinner will suffice." It did not suffice. He needed to have it for lunch too.
Yeah, we settled on everything. We went through.
It's not SpawnCon for him. He's
We
not
went
getting
through
it.
every restaurant that there was too. We were like local burger chain, Red Robin. He was like, nope. IHOP,
Good
somewhere
choice.
fancy, fast food, anything. The old, I don't know if is there an old spaghetti factory around here? I was worrying about that.
I think you have to go to Linwood now, sadly, now that the one at South Center is closed.
We were not driving to Linwood, but yeah, we offered him everything, and he was like, "Nope, I want 2x Pagliacci in the day," and I was like, "Sign me up."
Did you have different slices at
Absolutely
lunch?
not.
Oh, you just went extra
No,
pepperoni?
they had the seasonal, I think, potato.
I
primo of
I
some
wanted
kind.
to try that. I was a little bummed that
Phenomenal.
that was not an option, but I did demand that we do a full large of the 12th man primo. You know my quest for us to do the SpawnCon Search for Seattle's Best Slice, and to me the 12th man is right up there with anything that Pagliacci
Beautiful.
does.
This is literally unrelated to the sponsorship. I was just telling them, sat them down and told them about how great Pagliacci pizza was. I didn't think we'd be getting here, but
As one does.
and anyway, I had such a great time. Almost as good of a time as I had as watching that Seahawks game, which is to
probably
say
better.
it was fine. It's hard. It's hard watching a football game. This is why I've gravitated more to the Huskies, because I was like, I need to the ups and downs of football.
Well,
It's too easy.
Chet Fish is going to have you some ups and downs for you.
This is too. Hey, Damon's coming back.
It is official.
The players re-signing too, where now you need to announce that every player is re-signing. I'm just like, cool, yeah, we kind of knew because you didn't enter the portal, but
You know,
sure.
get that social media
It's
love. If
it's
you
like
want
being recruited is the most fun thing when people are complaining about transfer portal, and it's like, honestly, it's never as fun as when you get recruited. So a lot of times it's like I get to do the post again. I get to have people tell me how much they love me again. We all would want to do it. You know, the most engagement you ever have is when you're leaving a job or getting a new job.
Let he who would not post it on social media cast the first stone. All right, well, the Seahawks will not play this weekend. That's good news, both because of the fact that it means they have automatically advanced to the divisional round, and also because I will be spending the week in Portland, so I don't know if we'll get a pod before Thursday night.
I kind of can't believe this team is the number one seed, though.
Pretty well.
Where we came from, I will say,
I mean,
I was probably as optimistic as anyone heading into the season.
13 and 14, obviously, it was no surprise at all that they were the number one seed. 2005, they were coming off of a disappointing season but it was still within the midst of they had made the playoffs the previous 2 years.
This
and
feels like the combination of 12 and 13 together. The They're
Yeah,
kind of
makes
speed
sense.
running the beginning of the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era, right?
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of a second for Mike Macdonald, but he did it fast. And I mean, his road record, it's funny that we're excited about being at home when it's like, well, this team doesn't lose on the road. So.
They are now 15-2 all time in road games under Mike Macdonald.
Is it 2? They lost the Rams game earlier this year. And
They lost one last year.
Who did they lose to last year? I think they might have lost to the Niners last year, I want to say.
They lost to the Rams, right?
Did they lose to the Rams last year on the road? I thought they beat them on the road and lost
No,
here.
because Week 18 was in LA, wasn't it?
Oh, and they won that game. No, they won that game at the Rams.
Oh, you're
Week
right.
18.
Okay, yes, they did win that.
I think
game.
they lost to the Niners. I think that was the only other road loss that they had, that Mike Macdonald's had. But it is kind of funny being like
it's tough because that information is not readily available.
that we're like, woo, we don't have to leave home. But it's fun for everybody involved. The atmosphere in Seattle is back. It was a Seahawks Christmas again in a lot of ways. And I think this team has really like captured the hearts of Seattle and done it very, very quickly. But it's been a pretty fun season. And I will say, this is beyond my wildest dreams for this team. Being the number 1 seed in the NFC and what is partially because of the Rams existing a very good NFC and to have kind of conquered this really difficult NFC West. For Sam Darnold, who a year ago we were here in the same position and the story was about Sam Darnold can't win the big game, can't win the game that's going to make them the number 1 seed. Sam Darnold just did it.
Yep.
It was the defense, but I'll tell you the Vikings defense was good also. And Sam Darnold, we stepped out there and it wasn't a concern of mine.
Detroit was the one road loss last
They
year.
lost at Detroit.
I wouldn't say it wasn't a concern of mine, but Sam Darnold did exactly what he needed to do in this game.
Yeah.
And he can keep playing the same way, and the Seattle Seahawks can win the Super Bowl.
This team can win a Super Bowl. It's very strange. It is very strange to be in this territory.
But it's a fun place to be.
I do feel like I have to deliver one, though, to the coach who just seeing them all game, just so unable to figure out what to do. I played a game of college football. You heard me on the phone earlier, where I was tormented throughout this game, and I was like, why can't I do anything? Why am I throwing so many picks? Why can't I move the ball? And it turned out I was on Heisman difficulty, and my oldest child was on varsity difficulty, and he
okay.
talked so much shit,
You
and
did, I heard that.
I didn't know what to do about it. And the only way that I can empathize with Kyle Shanahan was that I just didn't know what to do about it. And playing against Mike Macdonald's defense in real life is like playing on Heisman difficulty. And that's why Kyle Shanahan, retire, bitch. We'll see you in the playoffs.
On that note,
Thanks for listening.
thanks.